When we move the arm, what happens to the scapula? Rotates. Yeah. So if I'm going to needle his supraspinatus in this position, right? I'm going to leave his arm in this position. Because if I take his arm up to here, like that, the scapula is rotated about 30 to 40 degrees, and his supraspinatus is now lying like this. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So which way do you want to lie? Like this or like this?
For me, it's more comfortable this way.
Okay, fine.
The same thing applies safety-wise, doesn't it? With the scapula potentially having holes if something's
Yes.
necrotic.
Yes, so if we have a very old, compared to her, very old osteoporotic woman in her 70s.
You look very good for 70.
I'm going to needle you again.
The French are so accommodating.
We are.
Yeah, they have such a good sense of humor.
Thank you. And we're not aggressive.
Not at all. You don't hold grudges either. Yeah, if you've got a patient that fits into that age group category, then for sure you want to just have it in the back of your mind that when you're needling infraspinatus with this type of patient here, you should be hitting the bone at about 20 to 25 mils, medial to lateral, approximate, at your approximate depth.
You don't want to go more than a 30 minutes.
Yeah, so if you've got a 40 in your hand, you should definitely not be using more than half of the 40 mil needle. Yeah.
Cool, so 30 mil needles.
And if you are, that's the thinking which says stop. Something could be going on here. It's incredibly rare, but it's possible. Okay, so there's his spine of his scapula. There's his supraspinous fossa. There is the acromion. All right, there is the clavicle, the acromion, the spine of the scapula. So if we're going to be needling his supraspinatus, we're going to be needling up to that point there. Okay? There. That's the fossa there. So I'm going to take a 40 mil needle to start with. Yeah. His range is going to be 30s and 40s for his muscles around the scapula. In the midline, there. I don't want to needle straight down for fear of what structure?
Artery and
Suprascapular nerve and artery. Correct. All right. So in the medial fibers over here, there's my spinal scapula. I'm going to go through traps. I'm going to get a nice ache when I hit the supraspinatus, which it's going to tell me right about there.
Yep.
And then in the next 10 mils, I'm going to hit the fossa.
It's going all the way underneath my shoulder.
I thought we were going actually that way,
You thought we were going?
more that way.
Angled medially.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know,
No.
to go in the
No, I'm going
line of the fibers.
perpendicular. No. I'm going perpendicular, straight down to the fossa. So there's my vertebral border. Perpendicular, straight down through traps. There's the fossa there. So my first needle that I put in was actually missing the fossa. My first needle went in over. Is that it there? Was it there?
Yeah.
Or here?
So because
So I was a little bit too anterior.
Okay.
And I was worried because I was saying to myself while I was demonstrating, I should be hitting the fossa before 40 mils. And I wasn't, which is why I changed. Okay. And the reason why I changed is because I've palpated again and I could feel there's the spine of the scapula, there's the fossa, and my needle was actually, I went in over there. So I was a little bit wrong. So that's why I brought my needle up to over here.
Just got it in the fossa.
So there's the fossa. There's the vertebral border. There's the midline. If I'm needling in the midline here, I'm going to needle and I'm going to angle towards the spine of the scapula and angle the needle so that it stays in the supraspinous muscle, like that. And I'm hitting the rise of the spine of the scapula. All right, so my needle is actually hitting this portion of the scapula, but where it's coming out like this. All right, to form the spine of the scapula.
Aiming it slightly lateral.
I'm aiming, no, I'm not. I'm just aiming inferiorly. But I'm going at the same angle that I did with levator scapula.